My great-grandfather, Edward Bailey, and his partner were photographers back in the early 1900s, 1910, just showing how the city grows up and how different investments get made. It's really kind of interesting because oil was hidden behind the hills here for the longest time, but about 1903 they found oil bubbling out of the ground over here. And it was really good, lightweight oil that could be used for lamps. And people need to realize that whale oil was being used for lamps, and they needed a replacement for that. We're looking at the natural resources like we've always done here in Whittier, and we're saying, hey, here's an opportunity to use a natural resource and to help everybody out in the community. It's just practical. We need oil, and we need the funds that come from oil, and it just makes sense. It's just a good proposal.
The city has lost a significant amount of sales tax revenue, predominantly caused by a number of our car dealerships having closed or left the area. And this has put significant financial strain on the resources of the city and could potentially lead to dramatic service cuts that I feel will have a significant impact on the local business community.
The Whittier Oil Project, I see it as an opportunity for us businessmen and residents to maintain the income flow of the city and limit or minimize the possibility of tax increases.
The Whittier Oil Project proposes to drill for oil on one site to be located in the Whittier Hills. Here's an aerial view of what it might all look like.
We kick off our tour from the Whittier College Stadium. From above, we can see the consolidated central site is nestled within a small fraction of the entire Western Preserve boundary outlined in yellow. The site is currently closed to the public. At the top of the screen, we can also see the proposed city access road option at Penn, laid out in green, leading through the landfill and showing its relationship to the central processing area. The facility cannot be seen from outside the preserve, and only a small portion can be seen from only one place along the upper hiking trail. Oil will be pumped into holding tanks from underground, soundproof wells, and will flow through a 6-inch pipe to refineries miles away. This is a view of the consolidated central site. New plantings, along with existing trees and ground cover, will camouflage the modern rig, which drills slant or directional wells from one location. The processing area briefly holds the oil. There will also be 2 sound-baffling barrier walls. The walls, along with the terrain and landscape, help to shield the consolidated central site. From this view of the project from the Friendly Hills Country Club, the project can't be seen. The next view is from the intersection of Mora Vista and Catalina. The project can't be seen from here either. There will be almost no visual impact from the proposed site. Now we swing by the Murphy Ranch Field at Colima Road, providing an example of how the natural topography and vegetation are effective visual barriers. The existing residential views will not be significantly affected. Flying back to our overview, we see the areas we've visited and how they can work together to have a minimal environmental effect while bringing up oil to light Whittier's bright future.
When Chevron quit the fields in the 90s because the price of a barrel of oil was only $14, they left behind some 90% of the oil known to be in the ground. Today, oil is at $82 a barrel, and that could mean a lot of needed revenue for the city of Whittier.
When the state took the taxes and the redevelopment funds this year, our budget was in serious trouble. But when I heard about the oil, I thought this is such a perfect solution because this would give money to make sure that Whittier had a good budget base for many, many years.
Given the current economic situation, where both Sacramento and Washington are expressing interest in raising taxes across the board, And certainly all cities, counties, and municipalities are raising fees in lieu of taxes or in addition to taxes. This money could be a substantial windfall for the city. And it would eliminate the necessity for the increased fees and increased taxes.
As a soccer mom, where I travel around the Southern California area with 2 of my kids, I see the kind of projects that certain communities who do have oil commerce going on in their cities. I see Yorba Linda, I see Long Beach, I see Belmont Shore, which is a beautiful community. I see Beverly Hills, I see a number of communities around our area who have kind of embraced it, but again, in an intelligent manner. And they've been able to do some tremendous things in their community to revitalize facilities, kids services, senior services. And I just think that this represents that kind of option for Whittier, and I'm just hoping that folks are willing to give it a chance.
I'm encouraged by what I see, the fact that the impact environmentally is much less, so many people should be satisfied. To work through the financial discussions is still to be worked out. I'm encouraged that that can be worked out given the high opportunity numbers of both production and increasing oil prices. It's phenomenal. We've seen that happen in other communities that have had this kind of resource as we go over to the western part of the LA Basin. So why not Whittier?
I think the city of Whittier is very blessed to have oil, and I believe that the city councilmen have an obligation to serve the majority of their citizens by using this oil money to provide social services badly needed by the citizens of Whittier. I believe that drilling for oil in the Whittier Hills is absolutely safe. I see no danger at all, and I think the economic benefit would be so obvious.
When my twins were in the kindergarten class at Mar Vista School, I was the volunteer noon duty aide on the playground. And so for 1 hour, I was on the playground of that school. And I also had my 6-week-old newborn daughter, and we patrolled the playground for an hour every single day. And I never heard, I never smelled, I was never aware of the oil wells. And so I wondered, what is it that they're planning with this oil project that would make it so that you could smell the oil wells, hear them, when I couldn't smell and hear the 550 oil wells that Standard Oil had brought in? I also talked a couple nights ago with one of the kindergarten teachers up at Mar Vista School, and I asked her, I said, were you aware of the oil wells? Did you hear them? Did you smell them? And she said, I was totally unaware of the oil wells. I think the best option in the EIR is where it's consolidated into one site, and I think that having everything at the one site, from what I read, it sounds like it's going to be 2,000 feet from the Mar Vista School. So we're not talking about something that's going to be in anybody's backyard.
As I understand, the consolidated site is taking the EIR report, moving the site back up into the hillside in a canyon where the rig is going to be lowered, and you're not going to see it very much unless you walk back into that canyon.
I think it's a project that we have to look at very realistically. I trust that the people on our city council will do that, because the people who have preserved these hills for us are on the city council.
I think the city councilmen of Whittier are good people. I think that they only want the best for the citizens of Whittier.